Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to Sunday School. I don't know about you, but I have really been missing seeing you all every Sunday morning at church. And it is just wonderful that we're able to come together online today and have Sunday School together and learn more about God. Now, I know you have been hearing all about different characters of the Bible. We've been hearing about Daniel in the lion's den, and last week you heard all about Zacchaeus. And today I'm going to talk all about a group of people called disciples. Now, disciples are special friends of Jesus, and they spent a lot of time with him. And one day, Jesus and his disciples were near the Sea of Galilee, where crowds of people had gathered to hear Jesus preach and see him perform many miracles. Now, the sun had started to set and they'd been there all day, and Jesus and the disciples were getting very tired. So they decided to take a boat and go across the water to the other side to get some rest and just to have a little break away from the crowds of people. So Jesus and the disciples got on the boat and Jesus fell asleep straight away. Now, the disciples noticed that the sea was getting a wee bit choppy and the boat was starting to rock a wee bit more than usual. So can we all pretend that we're in our boats, and can we sway as if we're on the boat? Now, the wind started to get stronger as well, so can we be the wind and blow to make the boat sway even more? Well, the wind started to really whip around the boat, and the disciples were starting to get very worried. Now, many of the disciples were fishermen and they knew how to handle a boat. But even this was getting scary for them. The waves were crashing over the boat and the water was starting to come into the boat and the wind was whipping and howling around them. So everybody rock your boats and blow hard like the wind. And the boat was rocking from side to side and the disciples were in such a panic. They really thought they were going to drown and the water was coming in more and more. So guess what Jesus was doing at this time? He was still fast asleep. So the disciples quickly rushed over to Jesus and frantically shook him awake and said, wake up, we're going to die. The boat is going to sink. And Jesus woke up, and I'm sure he was startled with all the commotion that was going on. But he stood up and he calmly looked around at the sea and he could feel the wind and he said, quiet, be still. And he said that to the wind and the waves. And guess what, boys and girls? Guess what happened? The wind died down. The waves were gone. And the water was as calm as can be. The disciples were just amazed. And Jesus looked at the disciples and he said, why were you so afraid? Don't you trust me? And the disciples, they just couldn't believe how focused they were on how scared they were and how worried they were, that they forgot all about Jesus being in the boat and they forgot to focus and turn their eyes to Jesus, who was going to be able to help him, and instead they were just looking and panicking all around at the storm and worrying about themselves and worrying that they were going to die. And do you know, boys and girls, we can be like that sometimes whenever things don't go quite right, or our day hasn't turned out the way we were expecting it to be. And sometimes we can worry an awful lot about stuff, and we can panic and we can maybe forget that Jesus is there. All he's waiting for is for us to trust him and to ask him for his help. So boys and girls, maybe you were at school and you went over to play with your friend and maybe they just didn't really want to play with you that day, and that left you feeling a wee bit sad and a wee bit lonely. And maybe you went home that day, you worried about it. You worried about what was going to happen the next day at school. Or, well, P7s, if any of you boys and girls were doing the AQE, I'm sure your head has been spinning. What a journey you have been on. 1 minute the AQE's on, then it's postponed, then it's cancelled, back on again. Now it's cancelled. My goodness me, I'm sure your heads are in an absolute spin. And maybe some of you are now worrying about it and worrying that you're not going to be able to sit your exams that you'd worked so hard for, and maybe you're worrying that you're not going to get into the school that you were really working towards getting into and hoping to get into. And now you're maybe worrying about that and feeling a wee bit overwhelmed with everything. Or boys and girls, maybe you're just a wee bit stressed about this lockdown. Isn't this very strange, the way life is at the minute? Not going to school? Isn't that just crazy? And having to homeschool, and maybe you're worrying about that. Maybe you're finding it difficult keeping up with the work that your teacher's sending you. Or maybe you're just really missing your friends and you just want to see your family more and just go out and see all your aunties and cousins and just play with all your friends and go in and out of each other's houses and just be with people. And I know that that can be very worrying sometimes, that we're not able to maybe do the type of things that we would normally be used to doing. But boys and girls, the wonderful news is that Jesus is there to help us get through this. He is there to help us get through anything in our life that we're finding difficult or hard. So maybe you're feeling a wee bit lonely in school. Maybe you're having a wee bit of difficulty with your friends. Maybe they're not letting you join in. And boys and girls, it says in the Bible that if we pray to God and ask Him for help, He will answer our prayers and He will help us to get through this. And maybe if you look around, there could be other boys and girls there that you maybe haven't had a chance to play with before. And you can maybe start to play with those boys and girls and they could become your friends as well. And the P7's worrying about school starting in September. Please try not to worry. Trust in God. Pray to Him to help you get through this. God knows all about it. He knows exactly what you're worrying about and He knows which school is best for you. And we just have to really trust Him with this and try not to worry. And boys and girls, with lockdown, the really good news is it's not going to last forever. Soon there will be no more homeschool. Yes! Everybody give a cheer. Soon there'll be no more Google Classroom. Yes! Bet your mummies and daddies are cheering at that. Soon you'll be able to go out and see your friends. You'll be able to hug all your family. You'll be able to go on holidays again. And life will be back to normal. And we'll be able to look back on that time and think, my goodness, wasn't it wonderful that God was there to help us every step of the way? Just like Jesus was on the boat with the disciples when they were worried and panicked about everything. And once they turned to God, they realised they shouldn't really be worrying about anything because God is in control. He can calm the sea, He can calm the winds, and He can help us get through our times when we find ourselves worrying about things if we just trust in God and ask Him to help us get through this. Isn't that just wonderful? So boys and girls, I have a memory verse that I would just like to share with you all today. Now, this memory verse is in Isaiah, and it's Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, and it says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not worry, for I am your God. I will help you and I will strengthen you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." Isn't that just wonderful, boys and girls, that in the Bible that it says we actually don't need to be afraid because God is with us. And the Bible encourages us, just like in this verse, not to worry because God is there to help us. Now, I know that that verse is quite long, so I would love it if you could even learn just the beginning of it, where it says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not worry, for I am your God." And the next time when you start to feel a wee bit worried about something or a wee bit panicked about something, just try to remember the words of the Bible verse today. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not worry, for I am your God. Okay, boys and girls, we're now going to sing our song. And our song this morning is called Strength and Shield. And this song reminds us to trust God. Through anything, God is our helper. We are never alone. And God is always with us, watching over us and helping us.
Is my strength and my shield, and I will trust him through anything. He's my helper. The Lord is my strength and my shield, and I will trust him through anything. He's my helper. I'm with me as time marches on. I'm jumping for joy. I'm shouting thank you. I'm singing my love. I'm giving all my praise to you. God, it's all for you. I'll give my praise to you. It's all for you. The Lord is my strength and my shield, and I will trust him through anything. He's my helper. The Lord is my strength and my shield, and I will trust him through anything. He's my as time marches on. I'm jumping for joy. I'm shouting thank you. I'm singing my love. I'm giving all my praise to you. God, it's all for you. I'll give my praise to you. It's all for you. You're my strength, my shield, my help. You're my strength, my shield. My heart will sing, jumping for joy. I'm shouting thank you. I'm singing my love. I'm giving all my praise. I'm jumping for joy. I'm shouting thank you. I'm singing my love. I'm giving all my praise to you. God, it's all for you. I'll give my praise to you. God, it's all for you. God, it's all for you.
Okay, boys and girls, it's time now to do some art. And because our Bible story today was about Jesus and his disciples on the boat, I thought it would be a really good idea for us to make our own boats. So this is what we're going to make today, and it's very simple. All you're going to need is a paper plate like this. Now, if you don't have a paper plate, don't panic, because you can get some printing paper, draw around a dinner plate, and then cut it out for your circle. You're also going to need some Sharpies, felt tips or crayons for all the colouring in, and sellotape or stapler. And also a straw. Now, if you don't have a straw, you could use a lollipop stick, or you could cut the side of your cereal box out, and that would help with making the mast. So first thing we're going to do is get our plate, our circle, and fold it in half like this. And then this makes the bottom of our boat. You then get your straw and you can sellotape your straw to the back of the boat, like that. And then you're going to use your hand to make the sail. So you put your hand down on a piece of paper and draw around it and cut it out, and that makes the sail. And then once you've everything coloured in and all stuck on, it will look like this. And then every time you look at your boat or you play with your boat, you can remember how Jesus is always there for you, just like he was always there for the disciples throughout the storm. Okay, so will we now say our prayer? If everyone would wave their hands about and give them a shake and bring our hands together while we talk to God. Dear God, thank you that you are such a wonderful and amazing God. Thank you that we are able to have online Sunday school. Please be with us this week and look after us and our families. Thank you that you are always there for us. Amen.